Thank you, Mike, and welcome to a warm day in Fort Worth. We've got the only top 25 matchup on today's slate. They're packed inside the Carter. Number 23 West Virginia looking for the upset against number 8 TCU and the Horned Frogs, who come in with some serious momentum. We just heard the guys talking about the upset happening in Norman. What a program building win for Matt Campbell. The updated Big 12 standings, Brady.
It's what you come to expect in the Big 12. A lot of parity, a lot of competition. Always expect the unexpected. And now for today's game here in Fort Worth, the winner is going to be at the top of the Big 12. Still a lot of football left to be played, but that's what's at stake right now.
Aaron Goldsmith alongside Brady Quinn. Will be joined in a short while by Bruce Feldman roaming the sidelines. Pretty lively atmosphere here in Texas as TCU, 5 weeks ago unranked. Now they find themselves number 8 in the country. West Virginia winning the toss, deferring. TCU set to receive. Devontae Turpin back deep to return. Evan Staley getting set to kick things away for the Mountaineers. West Virginia has not won a true road game versus a top 10 opponent since 1982. That was against Oklahoma. Evan Staley gets you started. Turpin brings it out. Good move. One of the best return men in the conference. And he is finally dragged down. Fantastic starting field position for the Horned Frogs. You take a look at this TCU offense, and it is led by the former SEC quarterback Kenny Hill, completing nearly 73% of his passes.
Yeah, I think the thing you have to love about Kenny Hill is really his raw ability. He's got a tremendously strong arm. He can really stretch the field. He's athletic. He'll play a part in the run game, especially early on in this game. And finally, he's continued to improve, not only from last year to this year, but also as the season has gone on.
Nix with the man in motion. Darius Anderson, the starting running back today for TCU once again. Hill to pass on the first play today. Right away finds his tight end Cole Hunt, his third catch of the season. Toyas Avery upends him.
Toyas Avery, one of the returning starters coming back for this West Virginia defense. They battled with injuries so far this year, but after a bye week, they're back at 100% and healthy.
Anderson has been so good early on this season, not going all that far this time. Trayvon Askew Henry there to meet him.
This is where TCU on offense has been so effective. They lead the Big 12 on third down, and it's for this exact reason. They remain within third and short. They give themselves the opportunity to run every play in the playbook, whether they run the football or throw the football.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 3.
This is where defensive coordinator for West Virginia, Tony Gibson's going to test Kenny Hill. He's going to bring pressures, and then he's going to disguise and drop out of it at times, but he's going to try to get some hits on him early.
Hill keeps it himself, and he's able to lunge forward enough for the first down.
One of the things you notice early on for TCU on offense is them trying to incorporate Kenny Hill in the running game. The coaching staff feels like when he gets involved running the football, he gets into a rhythm faster. And take another look at this. It looks like he's going to be short.
They mark him just shy.
That looks close to me, and initially I thought he had enough for the first down. I'm wondering why they wouldn't want to measure that. Looks close enough from up here.
Adam Nunes, the punter for TCU. And pins him inside the 5. Nunes with a thing of beauty. Now Brady will take a look now at our winning duels sponsored by Volkswagen. Why settle for an SUV when you can have an SUVW?
Well, it's the wide receivers, really Gary Jennings, who leads them in receptions this year. It's his ability to make yards after the catch, makes guys miss, makes the tough catches across the middle of the field. And then number 13, David Sills. He's the red zone target. 6 receptions in the red zone, 5 for touchdowns. A former quarterback. Look at the body control. Obviously, he has the size and the hands. He's got all the ability in the world. Look at their season numbers. That's over 50% of the offense in the passing game.
Yeah, no receiver in the nation has more touchdowns than Sills. On the ground to Crawford. Big 12's leading rusher with the first down and room to run. Past the 30 and finally knocked out of bounds around the 40. And his gains finds him to force him out.
And this is exactly what West Virginia wants to do. They want to run the football, in particular between the tackles. That's where they've had the majority of their production. Once Justin Crawford gets in space, he is hard to tackle.
That's a pickup of 38. So much for that tough field position. The drop play. Back to Crawford. Picks up a good chunk of yardage. This is something that you had eyed very early in the week. Will
Grier is the most patient quarterback in the pocket in the passing game, but also with the draws. He does a tremendous job of holding the football and really selling out on the pass fake.
Grier keeps it this time, very mobile. Twice he's rushed for over 50 yards. They move the chains. We say hello to Will Grier, off last season, transferring from Florida. You can see what he's done this year.
He was very mature, very poised in the pocket under pressure, has command of this offense, controlling all the checks at the line of scrimmage. And he's a risk taker. He's going to throw it up and take some chances to his playmakers on the outside.
Averaging nearly 350 yards through the air per game so far this season. Has time now, steps up and runs. And Banagoo, who had a big week 2 weeks ago in Stillwater against the Cowboys, there to force him down.
You see Ty Summers, number 42. He's going to play the middle linebacker position today. Number 19, Montrell Wilson's out. There's a number of changes that they've had to make on the TCU defensive side of the ball. They've had some injuries. You'll see number 28, Tony James, as well at cornerback, in for Jeff Gladney.
Grier to pass. Knocked away. Good stiff coverage there. Ty Summers, and a flag comes in as he's looking for Gary Jennings.
There's no foul on the play. For defensive pass interference. We determine the contact was simultaneous to the ball arriving. Third down.
Let's take another look. Ball's out, and maybe a tad early, but pretty darn close. Just a good play by Ty Summers, which brings up now a 3rd and long. In this situation on the field, number 12, Gary Jennings, has been the guy they've liked to target early on in games.
Plenty of time. Quick strike to White. He's got enough to move the chains.
So they basically flood the zone. You're going to see Jennings come to the inside, and then White just curls in the soft spot of the zone coverage right around Ty Summers.
Pickup of 19. Ball down the 15-yard line. There's been a stonewall up front. Crawford with a big run to begin this drive. Not going anywhere that time.
But those inside runs will pay off dividends for West Virginia. They like to utilize the play-action pass game, so it makes those fakes impactful, trying to suck up the linebackers at the second level and find windows in behind.
This is the top rushing defense in the Big 12 for TCU. Plenty of time to the end zone for Sills, and he overthrows him.
And boy, they really had this dialed up for David Sills. Kind of a hesitation route. Watch him come off the football. He's going to slow up, and then he's going to try to go towards the corner of the end zone. He had a step on Tony James. Just not a catchable ball. Don't be surprised if they don't come back to that same concept here on 3rd and long and give Sills an opportunity.
13th play of the drive. It began at the 3-yard line. The draw, Crawford bobbles it, able to recover. Draven Howard meets him right away.
Boy, Draven Howard has been one of the best players Gary Patterson's had on defense in quite some time as far as his ability to play the run game as well as the pass game effectively. Guy who's got 261 tackles in his career here at TCU.
From 37 yards out, this will be the longest this season for Mike Molina, the senior out of Hurricane, West Virginia. And Molina able to put it through, and West Virginia on a drive that began at its own 3-yard line comes up with 3 points, and they take the early lead here in Fort Worth. Impressive opening drive for number 23 West Virginia. They've taken an early 3-0 lead over TCU here in Fort Worth. Out of the back of the end zone. They'll swing it out to Turpin.
Talked about it before. This is a team that's 17 different players that have caught a football this year. And third down, though, they like Desmond White, number 10, and they like number 25, Turpin. Both guys, they're in the slot.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 3. Hill with pressure. Looking for Turpin once again. And some pressure that time from David Long.
So what you have to understand is Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, he's going to test Kenny Hill. So this is going to be the free defender, and Hill's going to drift back, but he's got to be able to set his feet, get this football off, and get hit. He knows it's going to happen. That's the predicament that Gibson puts you in. He's going to have a free rusher who's going to hit you, and you got to get back up and be able to do it again and again and again. And that's the tough thing for Kenny Hill today. He's got to be able to set his feet, not continue to drift, and get a more accurate football.
Well, TCU, the best third down team of the nation, 0 for 3 on third downs. Early contact there. Sims getting leveled.
Was he blocked into Sims? That's going to be key here. If he was, it will not be interference.
Now, no flag is down.
And you can see right here, comes across, hidden Ennis Gaines into Marcus Sims. Looks like Stewart, I believe, for West Virginia.
Giovanni Stewart.
Ruling on the field is the kicking team player was blocked into the receiving team player. The ball was first touched by the receiving team, then recovered by the kicking team. It's first down, TCU.
How about that?
And again, those are the sort of mistakes that you cannot make versus a top 10 team in the country. And it's all because of Stewart pushing Gaines into Sims, which allows the ball, when it hits Sims, to be a live football.
Ball marked at the 33. On play action. Off target. Looking for John DeArce, the LSU grad transfer.
When he had an open window to him, Toyus Avery was down in the vicinity, coming up on the run part of the run fake, if you will, of the run pass option. Not sure if that affected his throw, wanting to throw it more to the outside, but wasn't necessarily catchable for DeArce.
Hill has misfired on 5 of his first 7 pass attempts so far today. It's met right away. Al-Rashid Benton, by far the leading tackler for West Virginia.
Yeah, the 5th-year senior out of Newark, New Jersey. He's really the guy that makes this defense go as he comes off the field on third down. But a week ago, or really 2 weeks ago, their last game that they played, this defense struggled versus Kansas. And if it wasn't for Benton, who had 12 tackles, 11 of those solo, the score could have been a lot closer.
Brings up 3rd and long now for TCU. Looking to convert their first third down on the afternoon. Hill able to complete inside the 20. Finding his favorite target, Desmond White.
He's just going to run a simple out route. He's got leverage on the defender, Stewart. As you can see, it allows him to be able to break to the sideline really without anything impeding his ability to get there. Hill throws a catchable ball for the conversion.
White all of 5'7", 160, the senior. Inside a minute now. They swing it out. Jalen Rager, the high school track star, bulldozing his way past the 10. Running right behind Cole Hunt.
A little play action fake to no one, but you're going to see number 18 Rager get out into space, and they try to design different ways to get him the football. True freshman, tremendously talented. They feel like he could be the next guy to run along right behind a guy like Josh Dotson as far as his overall ability being a go-to wide receiver.
One of the top high school wide receivers in the nation last year. First and goal from the 7. Hill, 10 rushing touchdowns a season ago, a program record.
This is where if you're TCU, you have a tremendous size advantage over West Virginia up front. I mean, it's almost 50 pounds on average per man of the TCU offensive line versus the West Virginia defensive line.
And that wraps up quarter number 1 here from Fort Worth. TCU knocking on the door, but right now West Virginia the only points on the board. We'll be right back. First quarter in the books. Time of possession nearly identical. Mountaineers a field goal to make it 3-0. TCU knocking on the door. 2nd and goal at the 6. They hand it Kyle Hicks, lunging forward.
And off goes to Hicks.
Hicks missing the last game and a half out with injury. Also missed the opener. Back today.
This is where they bring in Shewo. Alanalua ends up running some wildcat from time to time. Wouldn't be shocked if they didn't get into that formation. He's been extremely effective in doing that. He's every bit of 6'3", 225 pounds.
And when he came to TCU, there was some thought that he might be a defensive end. He is in the wildcat. Olanalua tucking, jumping, hurdling. He is in for the touchdown.
We talked about the size advantage for TCU up front. And once you bring in the additional bodies, the bigger bodies that can run like Olanalua can, that's the end result. I mean, it's just more muscle on that side of the football. And you can see the athleticism for his size, too.
Jonathan Song on for the point after. Sophomore out of Fort Worth. 7-0. Number 8 TCU leading number 23 West Virginia. A couple of high-flying offenses. There's been a lot of defense so far here today. Number 8 TCU leading West Virginia 7-3. Take a look at that scoring drive and the points off of turnovers this year. 49 points over 10 turnovers forced by TCU.
That's the most in the Big 12. Coming into today's game, West Virginia and TCU were tied. That's now the most. So you can see clearly they know what to do with the football when a team turns it over.
Marcus Sims back deep for West Virginia. Cole Bunce, the sophomore out of San Jose. Through the end zone. Play action to Petaway. Over the middle. Pass complete. Tight coverage there. Gary Jennings. Let's go down to the field and bring in Bruce once again.
Guys, you're talking about this poise and this athleticism. I talked to his dad, Chad Grier, who, by the way, was a quarterback at East Carolina for Mark Richt. He said, you got to remember, this was a guy who was 5 for 5 as a freshman on 4th downs against Tennessee when he was back at UF. Also, great basketball player. When he played AAU ball, his team beat Grayson Allen, the Duke Stars team in AAU. And Will's dad said, you know, he can do a 360 dunk. I said to Will, can you still? He goes, probably not. I'm married to the kid now.
Grier eludes trouble once again. He's got the first down, slides out towards midfield.
Well, he maybe can't do the dunk portion of the 360, but he just did a 360 right there to be able to evade the rush. Look at him step up. You know, and again, he's the son of a coach, so it's not only the fact that he's able to get out of that, it's the ball security too. He doesn't allow anyone to swipe it away from him.
To Jennings once again for a quick strike.
Now trying to really make a concentrated effort at getting Gary Jennings going. This offense has such balance. That's what makes them the number 2 scoring offense in the country.
Petaway met quickly. Met by Ty Summers once again, second team All Big 12 last year.
You can see the TCU defense is really starting to get aggressive, in particular against the run, wanting to challenge West Virginia to put it all on Will Grier's shoulder. Again, the two guys they target, over 50% of their offense are on the same side of the field. Number 12, Gary Jennings. Number 13, David Sills, who's been quiet so far today.
We're looking right side, wide open. Kavon White, the first down, and he is met with authority, but too late. Pickup of 18.
Watch as he wraps into the zone coverage, and Grier puts the ball on the mark, on time, a little bit behind. Good enough still where Kavon White could get the catch.
First and 10 from the 32. Has time. Looking for Sills, and ball batted away. Now change this year for West Virginia. Dana Holgorsen no longer calling the plays for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, now it's Jake Spavital coming over from Cal. You can tell Dana Holgorsen, just from our production call, seems a little more laid back, quite as intense as we're accustomed to seeing. However, with the new rule not allowing coaches to come onto the field, you can best believe Mike Joseph, their strength and conditioning coach, he's got someone assigned to Dana Holgorsen.
No Justin Crawford on this drive, at least not yet. Pass completed, held on to by Sims. First down, West Virginia. His first catch today. That's a pickup of 13. A rare catch for Sims. It's not a touchdown. A third of his catches this year have been in the end zone. Good room right up the middle for Martell Pettaway. Limited carries this year. There's Vanderbilt calling the plays. On 2nd and 5, back to Pettaway. Rico Evans finds him.
Again, get down to the red zone. Talked about it earlier in today's show. 6 receptions for number 13, David Sills. 5 of those being touchdowns. He's got the size advantage on the outside. I'm sure he's going to get extra attention from the TCU defense. Right there.
10th play of this West Virginia drive. They need 3 yards. Overthrow Sills.
That's tough to do. But he had him coming across the middle. They set up a little mesh concept, meaning they're running another wide receiver over the top to pick for him. Had a lot of running room. Just out of the reach, and you could see Will Grier frustrated knowing he's good enough to make that throw, and really he didn't address the throw. He kind of just flipped his shoulders instead of turning his entire body to make a more accurate pass. Kind of took that short pass for granted.
Now Molina good for a season best 37 his last attempt. This one from 29, and he's better from 37. Score stays put. TCU 7, West Virginia 3. TCU football when we come back. First and 10 from the 28 for TCU. Play action to Hicks. Hill, plenty of time. Finds an open man. He finds Diarce, who keeps his feet. Finds a first down. Pushed out of bounds by Askew Henry. Pick up a 19.
Much like David Sills for West Virginia, Diarce used to play quarterback. And he's got a good feel for how to run a route, how to find the open windows in the zone coverage. But he's tough, too, after the catch. A tremendous athlete.
Play action again. Dangerous pass looking for Desmond White. Kaiser White in the neighborhood. Stops the clock. 5:06 to play in the first half.
Not very often you see a 2 tight end set from TCU with Cole Hunt, number 81, and number 82, Charlie Reed. Typically, that's their running formation.
Hill, by the way, just 5 for 13 here in the first half. Jet sweep to Turpin. Met immediately, flipped up in the air. Drayvon Askew Henry once again.
that's just not where you're going to find your production versus West Virginia. They run too well sideline to sideline. That's how this defense is built for West Virginia. They have smaller bodies, but guys can do a bunch of different things.
Askew Henry all last year with an ACL injury. Back and healthy now. Grier trying to find some space out to midfield. Fourth down for TCU.
I would imagine TCU is just going to try to run some time off the clock, not give West Virginia a ton of time before half. And this would be far too long, I would think, for Gary Patterson, a defensive-minded coach. Tend to be a little bit more conservative at times.
Jennings standing at his own 10. Adam Nunes, meanwhile, has been the star of the first half for TCU. Has 3 times pinned West Virginia at or inside its own 5.
Like Virginia Tech all over again.
Now they'll settle it once again inside the 5. Play action, finding Sims. Sims with the stiff arm. Good run out for the catch. Marcus Sims.
And that's really what he's best at. But look at the strength of the stiff arm on the smaller Tony James. He turns back around field, that right arm. He didn't grab, so it's illegal. You can push, you just can't grab the helmet.
Boy, Grier is in a rocking chair right now. Looking deep, settles for a round underneath to Sills. Run out of bounds.
It's not like there's not tight coverage. I mean, the TCU defense is in the vicinity, but it's the timing and rhythm that Grier's got going on right now with his wide receivers.
Good spin move, first down Crawford.
This is pretty much their normal pace. 20 seconds per play right now. It's a 2-minute offense, but you're looking at West Virginia sitting with all 3 timeouts, clock stopping after a first down. They've got plenty of time.
Under 90 seconds to play first half. West Virginia drive to take the lead. Grier stepping up, and he is crushed. Then Vanagoo, sack and a forced fumble 2 weeks ago in Stillwater. This time a big crunch.
And really, this is on Justin Crawford. He stays in for protection, then releases, but he doesn't help anyone on his way out. He had an opportunity to maybe take a shot at Vanagoo, but Grier holding on to the football, waiting for something to develop further downfield. Ends up taking the sack.
Flushed. Eyes downfield. Vanagoo again forces a throw out of bounds. And Vanagoo's got something to say about it. All in good fun, though.
Well, that's what happens when a guy is in your face 2 plays in a row. Vanagoo with the sack the play before, this time pressuring Grier to have to get rid of the football. He's probably telling him, hey, you're going to see a lot more of me the rest of the game.
We got a whole second half coming. Third and 18 now for West Virginia. They empty the backfield. Grier looking for White, underthrown right by the first down marker.
And he had a window to White. Just end up almost pulling off of it a little bit. Just clearly skips before White's able to get it, but you could see there was a hole in the defense between Nico Small, number 2, and number 12, Jeff Gladney.
Turpin back at his own 10. Kenny punts it away. And out of bounds.
This is pretty interesting. 2 of the top scoring offenses in the country coming into this game. So far, we're sitting here with 10 total points in the first half.
And both teams averaging in the neighborhood of 50 points a game. Lua gets the handoff. He has scored the only touchdown of this game.
looks like Gary Patterson's going to be happy with going into halftime with the lead. That's typically what happens too when you're coming off of a bye. I think both teams have plenty of time to prepare for these high-powered offenses, and that's what you're seeing. You know, some things that maybe each offense hasn't seen from West Virginia or TCU before today's game.
The only top 25 matchup on today's slate around the nation, and at halftime, TCU, number 8 team of the country, leading number 23, West Virginia, 7-3. Well, right now we'll get you back to LA. Mike Hill in our studios for the State Farm halftime show. Mike, a lot of build up to this one today. The only matchup around the nation this afternoon of 2 top 25 teams. We take a look at the first half stats. Rushing yards, West Virginia trying to go for 200 yards on the ground for the 8th straight game. Passing yards favoring the Mountaineers as well. TCU, the best third down team in the nation, just 1 for 7 so far in the first half.
And really, I think the key's been all the pressure that's been on Kenny Hill so far today. And that's what West Virginia does on defense. They're going to force you to have to get the ball out of your hand quick, have to deal with getting hit here. So all in all, a defensive battle, which we didn't see coming into this game.
First half MVP for TCU, Adam Nunes, the punter.
I think that's probably fair to say.
Is that a fair statement?
Well, yeah, he's made West Virginia have to go the long, hard way to try to get scores.
He has pinned West Virginia at the 6 or further in 4 times in the first half. Sims bringing this out, trying to find some space to run. Let's go down, run around that neck of the woods, down to the field, bring in Bruce Feldman.
Guys, Dana Holgorsen wasn't too upset with his team. He said, we got to finish drives. We have to go 98 yards. That's really nobody's fault other than they're making a lot of plays on special teams. Gary Patterson said, you know what, we got to do better at catching the ball. We got to throw to the right guy. He goes, but our punter, he's been awesome.
So he agrees, first half MVP.
Well, I think that's one of the things he talked about, though, is, you know, defensively, you got to get off the field. You got to find a way to get off the field. On offense, you always have to reserve the right to punt. And so far, they're up right now because of that. Their punter's been phenomenal.
West Virginia starting from its own 18, which is some of its best field position today. Finding Jennings once again, his 7th catch already.
Will Grier made a quick adjustment at the line of scrimmage. He saw the soft coverage over Gary Jennings, signaled out to the wide receivers. Jennings communicated it out to Karan White. He'll basically run a little rub route to free up Jennings so he had space on the outside.
To pick up the 5. Jennings again with some space. First down to West Virginia. And finally crushed out of bounds by Nico Small.
So this is a screen the entire way. Watch Jennings come across your screen. He's going to catch the ball at the line of scrimmage. Why is that important? Because David Sills, number 13, he was already blocking downfield. He's allowed to do that if the ball is caught at the line of scrimmage or behind.
On the ground for the first time in the second half to Crawford. Met abruptly. Runs into Matt Boson. Draven Howard, the face of this TCU defense, their leading tackler for the 3rd straight year. Second and 8 coming up here for West Virginia. Crawford trying to break through an arm tackle. Draven Howard having a big game, no surprise.
It's been all Gary Jennings so far in this half and really throughout the course of the game as far as the player who's been targeted the most. At some point, when does David Sills get involved?
Sills with 7 touchdowns on the season. No one in the country has more in terms of wide receivers. 4 on the play clock. Grier gets it in time. Throws off his heels. Looking for Sims, who is unable to make the catch. Looked like he had that for a minute. Nico Small forced it out. Tejada was with him stride for stride as well.
That's twice now they've given Marcus Sims opportunities to come up with the big play, and as he goes down to the ground, he just can't hold on to the football. Talked about his speed earlier in the game. He was clocked at going 22 miles per hour in practice. He's that fast.
Reminds a lot of people back in Morgantown of Shelton Gibson from last year. Turpin not going far past the 20. Well, Will Grier has put it in the bucket a couple of times. Unable to come up with a catch. Now you were approaching the all-time high score of 330 by the very end, weren't you?
Yes, that's actually the record of David Pollock. He's an analyst for ESPN. Game day was here, so they were trying to give me a chance to break it. I think I got to 325, and unfortunately, they wouldn't let me stay any longer. It apparently took David Pollock all day to do it, and after playing pickup basketball against him, I could see why.
3 straight runs, first down, Hicks, what a move! Past midfield, and finally pushed out of bounds by Askew Henry.
You're going to see the TCU offensive line just create a seam in the middle of this West Virginia defense, and this is really what I've been waiting for all day long. I mean, you've got the size advantage versus the smaller West Virginia defensive front, really linebackers.
That's a pickup of 26, nearly matching the total first half yardage for Hicks, 28. This time to Anderson. Back to about the line of scrimmage.
Look at that size advantage. I mean, it's almost 50 pounds per guy up front. And so how do you counteract that if you're West Virginia? You slant and angle, meaning you move that defensive front, so you create a little bit of hesitation on the part of the TCU offensive line. And then you have what you just saw in the last play. Your linebackers, Preston, Benton, those guys, they have to be able to get into the backfield and make plays.
Play action, lobbing this to Diarse. Jump ball, he comes up with it. What a catch by Diarse.
Well, they brought the pressure, and Kenny Hill this time makes the pay. Literally throws a jump ball up to Diarse. Daniels is there, but he pulls in the ball on Daniels' back.
And at 21, Hill keeps it. Not a good decision. Al-Rashid Benton.
Let's go back to that last catch. Look at his left foot when he comes down. Or maybe his right foot there. His left looks like it might have been on the sideline. That looked pretty close, but TCU did a good job hustling to get the next play off.
Well, Mike Daniels leading this West Virginia secondary in passes broken up. Not that time, though. Turpin the man in motion. Looking for Turpin right away now. Sets his eyes downfield. Scrambling. They will take it, and he is smothered. A trio of West Virginia tacklers there. Xavier Preston.
They're actually looking for Cole Hunt. They tried to set up a little fake bubble screen to Turpin and released Hunt up the sideline, but Mike Daniels did a good job of covering him downfield. Really didn't give Kenny Hill another option. Forced him to flee the pocket.
Now, third down has been a strength all season for TCU, but not so much today.
Part of it's just the pressure again. West Virginia looks like they're about to bring an all-out pressure on Kenny Hill, and he's got to realize that he's going to have to stand in there. There's going to be someone coming free, and he's got to get the ball out accurately to one of his wide receivers before that pressure gets there.
Underthrows Turpin. I've seen that a lot today.
Well, he keeps drifting back into the pocket. He's got a really bad habit of doing that. When you do that as a quarterback, you can't get all your momentum and your lower body into the throw. And I understand he's worried about the rush, but it's still far enough away where he's not going to get hit. You'll see David Long come off the right side of your screen, but watch how he keeps drifting back. There's no lower body power into this throw, and he's got a good arm, but it's not that talented enough to be able to make that throw.
Now, 2 weeks ago, Jonathan Song attempted his first collegiate field goal, and that was in Stillwater. He's attempting his first here inside the Carter from 37 yards out. Able to push it through. 10-3 TCU. They score on their opening drive of half number 2. downs. Boots it away. Sims brings it out. Past the 20. For Grier and West Virginia, their first real test today since week 1, a loss against Virginia Tech. Grier was fantastic in his Mountaineers debut. Crawford, big hole to run through, first down, West Virginia.
And credit Elijah Wellman, number 28. He's the lead blocker there, the fullback. Does a bunch of different things for this West Virginia offense, but he was leading the way for Crawford through the hole.
First and 10 from the 49. Grier has a clean pocket. Throwing off his heels, and it's an easy interception. TCU's got it coming back the other way. Nick Orr still on his feet. Looked like some miscommunication for the Mountaineers, possibly. 34-yard return on the pick.
We talked about it at the very beginning of the game. Will Grier is a risk taker. He's going to throw up the football and give his wide receivers an opportunity. Watch number 8 at the top of your screen. See him get hung up, and as he comes across, he runs into David Sills. He gives up on the route, and there Nick Orr sits for the easy overthrow and interception. And they've targeted Sims a number of times. At some point, you've got to think, why are they not targeting Sills more? He's been a big play wide receiver for you, and they just haven't given him enough targets today. Gary Jennings has been involved, but Sills has been very quiet.
Good field position now for TCU. Ball at the 45. Hill to pass, taking a shot, going to Rager into the end zone. He is in for the touchdown. 45 yards to the true freshman Jalen Rager.
His second touchdown of the season. Let's see if he has control, possession of the football, and gets in through the pylon, and he does. Talked about points off takeaways. West Virginia and TCU were tied at number 1 coming into the game, but that's been the story of today's game. A botched punt, an interception, both those turned into touchdowns.
Rager, along with his teammate Kennedy Snell, set the Texas high school state record for the 4x100 2 consecutive years. This is a player, for good reason, Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs are very high on. Song splits the uprights. 17-3, number 8 TCU. Suddenly a little more breathing room following this, what turned out to be very easy interception by the Horned Frogs, and Nick Orr leading to this touchdown strike on the first play to Rager. Shot of those boots up, hoping to stay undefeated. Horned Frogs, number 8 team of the country, trying to get to 5-0. Tevin Bush back to return for West Virginia. TCU with 14 points off of a pair of West Virginia turnovers. Through the back of the end zone. The draw to McCoy. Almost tackled for a loss. Looked like able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tracked down by Traven Howard.
That's the one thing you got to be concerned with when you run a draw, is when teams bring pressure. You don't really have much time to sit there and give the illusion of a pass. You'd really like to be able to get out of that play and throw the football.
Somehow picks up a yard to make it 2nd and 9. Play action to White, his 4th catch. Covered that time by Jeff Gladney. Gladney questionable today because of an ankle injury. Hit a yard. McCoy stuffed. Maybe some second effort, though.
An unbelievable second effort, because it was definitely not there at first, and he found a way getting production. But look at Sills. He is gassed. I mean, coming back before that play, they were just basically waiting for him to come back and get lined up. There's no doubt it wasn't going to be a pass play. I mean, he didn't look like he even got a signal.
Sills 2 catches today. He enters this afternoon with 3 straight games of at least 7 receptions. He's been held awfully quiet. Second effort by McCoy gets a first down for West Virginia. Back to him.
Go back and take a look. Look at Sills. You see him right there. I mean, everyone else is about ready to get lined up on 3rd and 1. And he's just trying to get back, catch his breath. That's part of the problem when you have an offense that plays at such a fast pace. You've got to be able to rotate guys. Well, this offense is heavily built upon Jennings and Sills getting production in the passing game.
Second and 10 from the 36. Grier. There's Sills, goes up and has it knocked loose. Now they finally find him, and he can't make the catch. Gladney and Small there in coverage.
Well, TCU should be glad that Gladney was able to go today, because he's stepping up to the challenge. Look at David Sills. He's got at least a forge advantage, height advantage over Gladney to be able to go up and get that football. What do you have to do as a smaller defender? Wait until they start to come down and then knock the football out.
See where Grier wants to go here on 3rd and 10. Jennings, the man in motion. Has Sills wide open. Makes the move. Has his eyes set for the end zone. Sills all the way in for the strike. They finally find him.
We've been waiting on this all day. And really what he did was he split the bracket coverage. Look at Isahaku and Small. They're essentially doubling Sills. And how do you beat that? You just run vertically right through between the two. And really he's just able to make Nick Orr miss in the open field. And you can see he's got a lot of speed. It reminds me of one of my older wide receivers or connections in Jeff Samardzija. Very smooth, good athlete, big body target.
And play good for 64 yards. Sills now his 8th touchdown catch of the season.
What a response, too, by West Virginia.
Entered today tied for the nation's lead in touchdown grabs. West Virginia's staying in this one. And they find the man that they have found all season long, except for the first half today. David Sills, 64 yards out. West Virginia responds. TCU leading 17-10. David Sills, touchdown score, 64 yards of this 75-play drive for West Virginia.
Love the fact that they didn't connect on the play before, but he comes right back to Sills, gives him an opportunity, and they capitalized.
Both offenses starting to heat up a little bit now. Well, we have talked about the production of David Sills, and it's even more remarkable when you consider where he comes from, Bruce.
Guys, David Sills' evolution is one of the best stories in college football right now. When he was 13, Lane Kifford offered him a scholarship as a quarterback, and then it didn't work out. And eventually, he kind of really struggled as a quarterback, and a lot of folks wrote him off. West Virginia took a shot on him, and then they experimented with him at receiver, and they found something. They said he's got great ball skills, and he's a much better athlete than people ever thought he was, and he's become a star here. And Jake Spavital, the offense coordinator, told me it's pretty remarkable. He's amazing to see how far this kid's come, and he's probably the smartest receiver he's ever been around.
It's been amazing. What a season so far. On play action, Hill rolls out, throws a strike as he finds, that time, Jalen Austin.
Looks like we've got an issue with the chain gang up there.
There's some tough offenses to keep up with.
Still interesting that we haven't evolved and figured out something besides a chain to create the first down markers. It's 2017, man.
As you were talking about GPS tracking in the first half. To Diarse, right through his fingertips.
That's surprising. Diarse is one of the more sure-handed wide receivers for this TCU offense.
Stops the clock under 3.5 to play in the third quarter.
Something that's kind of rare that you don't see a lot of teams do, but that's put the strength of the formation into the boundary. Really stresses the defense as far as the type of defensive coverages that they can play.
Bill flush. Near the sideline, decides to tuck it. It's a good pickup before being forced out by Adam Schuler. Now Hill was able to pick up 8 yards on that scramble. Ball to TCU 46. They flip it. They find the speedster Kennedy Snell. No place for Snell to run, though. His first touch today, Kaiser White.
Well, 2 dead giveaways. One, Kenny Hill being under center. You know something's up. Typically like the jet sweep out of this, but it's Snell in the backfield. Snell's true freshman. And they like to find ways of manufacturing plays to get him the football. In this case, Kaiser White and West Virginia defense, they were not fooled whatsoever. They knew something was up once Kenny Hill got under center.
Now Snell owns the longest play from scrimmage this year for TCU, 71 yards, but going nowhere that time. Nothing to return here for Tevin Bush, out of bounds. West Virginia taking over on their own 23. They hand to Crawford. Chris Bradley, the defensive tackle. Now Crawford, the conference's leading rusher, is knocking on the door of 100 yards once again. He's got 16 carries for 94. 38 of those coming on his first tote of the day. Grier has time, floats it to White, fingertip catch. White is able to stay on his feet, and he is marching all the way to the house. 76 yards. West Virginia making some serious noise.
And this is just perfect execution by quarterback Will Grier. You're going to see a double move eventually by Karan White, but that's how you capitalize on some big plays downfield. That's why you're the #2 scoring offense in the country.
Last 3 snaps for West Virginia have resulted in a pair of touchdowns. Mike Molina ties this game at 17.
Let's take a look at how it happened. You see Karan White. He's going to run basically a little double move, and you're going to see him basically isolate number 18 Nick Orr as they bring pressure off of the edge from Anthony Tejada. Look at Grier. Cool, calm in the pocket, perfect ball. How about White keeping his feet? Be able to finish the plays. That's a problem. You know, they brought that from kind of the short side of the field, but the ball wasn't on the hash. It was more in the middle of the field. Typically, Tejada gets to the quarterback a little bit sooner if it's on the hash. He had a lot more ground to cover to try to get pressure on Grier.
Kaiser, his brother, also safety for West Virginia. Just about 90 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Ball to the 25. Pretty quiet day for Darius Anderson, one of the best running backs in the Big 12. And sling it out to Diarce. Diarce gives a hit right into Mike Daniels.
Those two are really going after it. Ever since that catch Diarce had versus Daniels, it seems like there's been a little extracurriculars going on with Diarce.
One of many former high school quarterbacks for TCU, not looking like a QB there. Here's a give to Anderson, cuts upfield, has a first down, and gets it out to about midfield for TCU.
Well, that's what makes Darius Anderson special. His ability to put his foot in the ground and get north and south in a heartbeat. And he's got good vision. So he's patient enough to not be full speed until he sees the hole. Then he accelerates through for the big game.
Picks up 17 that time, so he can do here. Not nearly as much. Now Rashid Benton, the linebacker, coming in.
And off going to Anderson.
Anderson, the reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week following his efforts in Stillwater.
Look at this formation. There's no one on the right side of the field for TCU. There we go. That's more normal.
Hunt and Reed move over. Turpin as well. Turpin to throw back to Hill. What's Kenny Hill going to do? Pick up a first down with a 360. To the 20. Kenny Hill is in for the touchdown. TCU takes the lead right back. 48 yards on the throwback to Kenny Hill from Kavontae Turpin.
And what a play design by offensive coordinator Sonny Cumbie. You can see at the right part of your screen. Hadn't seen a trick play quite like this from TCU. You knew they were going to bring something new to this game, having an extra week to prepare coming off their bye.
Kenny Hill, by the way, becoming the 10th different Horned Frog to catch a pass this year.
Let's go back and take a look at that play design. Well, it all starts with John Diarse. He's basically going to clear out the entire defense for West Virginia, and then you're going to see Kenny Hill kind of leak over to that side of the field. Look at Turpin, pretty good ball. And then it's David Long really with the only opportunity for a West Virginia defenseman to get after him. And after that, it's Hill with the speed. I mean, that's the kind of athleticism that we've seen from Kenny Hill throughout the course of the season so far. We haven't seen in this game. And coming into today's game, Will Grier second for a quarterback in the Big 12 rushing. Kenny Hill's third.
Closing moments of quarter number 3. Sims taking a knee. Grier has found Sills for a 64-yard touchdown, White for a 76-yard touchdown strike. Play action with time. Throwing off his heels, throwing deep again for Sills. Some contact. And here's a flag.
Pretty easy.
Defense, number 18, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It was good recognition by Nick Orr. You see him coming all the way across the field. He saw what they were trying to set up for Sills, but he doesn't even make a play on the football, and he clearly interferes with Sills' ability to make a play.
You're saying we don't need to bring in Dean Blandino for this one?
I don't think so.
Put away the running back, he gets it. And he is taken down quickly. Corey Bethley finds him first, then Nick Orr. We are off to the fourth quarter in Fort Worth. Now the first half was a little odd, 7-3, but things have picked up since then. Fourth quarter should be a beauty. Inside the Carter here in Fort Worth, Texas, 24-17. We look at the score by quarter. Safe to say things have picked up a little bit here in the third.
Yeah, just a little bit. Kind of more what we were hoping for, maybe expecting from both of these teams.
We start the fourth quarter, 2nd and 10. West Virginia has it at their own 40. Grier feeling pressure. Throwing sideline, looking for White, incomplete. He is hoping for a flag on Tejada, and a flag comes in. Grier a little shaken up.
Defense, number 11, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Grier gets flushed outside the pocket. White sees it, wisely turns back and tries to get back to the football. Clearly you can see his left hand pulling on the back of White's jersey.
Easy call there. To Sills. Met immediately, a couple of men in the vicinity of Rico Evans. The draw comes loose. Grier fortunate to be able to recover it.
So this is that draw play where Will Grier really delays it, but Crawford's got to be patient. He can't leave until the ball is in his chest. And that time he got impatient because he saw Ty Summers coming through the hole. West Virginia very fortunate to recover that football. You got to wonder, still plenty of time left in this game, but is this 4-down territory for West Virginia?
3rd and 8 from the 41. Sills underneath, trying to turn his shoulders upfield, stays on his feet. He's got the first down, pushed out of bounds. Nick Orr there. Flags come in as he's spilled down to the ground.
It's getting kind of chippy down there.
Dan Holgerson looks pretty fired up.
Well, you should be. I mean, that looked pretty blatant as far as Sills being out of bounds. I know it was a tough play as both players were going towards that first down marker. But we already saw Nick Orr take a shot earlier in the game against David Sills coming across the field. They got called for pass interference.
I thought you said Dana was relaxing a little bit now that he wasn't calling the plays.
Well,
No foul on the play for a late hit out of bounds. The contact started before the runner was out of bounds. Result of the play is a first down.
and that could be the only thing that really would negate that penalty if they believe the contact happened before as he was inbounds. Watch Sills. He's going to come across, and really the other side of the field, they're all blocking for him. They're essentially setting up a screen downfield. You can see Crawford, there's Jennings, and really it's his ability to make Nico Small miss, but
Crawford leans forward for a couple. Matt Bosa, the defensive end, there to find him. Grier to pass. Going deep. Looking for Sims, and nearly an interception. Tony James getting the start today.
let's go back to that no call. As we take a look, there's Sills rushing for the first down marker.
Boy,
Well, I don't know about that one.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure what contact happened before the play, before Sills was out of bounds. That looked pretty blatant. As we look at a 3rd and 8 scenario, Gary Jennings kind of been quiet here in the second half. Seen right out here in the slot.
Delayed draw again. Crawford trying to find his way. He's not close.
You got to think now that because of that call, that they looked at this as being a 4-down situation.
It's a gain of 4.
It's almost one of those scenarios too where Will Grier may have to use his legs and run for a first down.
Haven't seen that much since the first half. On 4th and 4. Grier is able to find White again. He's got the first down.
And once again, Tejada is right there. He just couldn't get a hand in on the football. Watch Will Grier, so patient. White's just sitting right next to the ref. It's almost as if Tejada didn't know the football was thrown.
They convert on 4th down. They hand it Crawford. Crawford has another first down. 1st and goal for West Virginia.
Don't be surprised if they don't come right back to it.
Crawford over 100 yards. On play action, they try to sling it into White. And it's batted away. Rico Evans is there all over him.
That's a heck of a play for a linebacker, and one that's really a backup. Look like Evans, it's Tejada.
Tejada, you're right.
Just say Tejada's been there all game. We just haven't really seen him get a hand in on the football.
2nd and goal for West Virginia from the 5. Grier pumping, lobbied, Sills his 2nd touchdown of the day. Nine touchdown grabs this season for David Sills.
This is just beautiful play design. Watch as Grier manipulates the defense with a fake screen, and you see Sills just works to the back of the end zone, and look at those hands. Just able to get his fingertips on the football for the score.
Much more modest 5-yard touchdown catch for Sills. Had a 64-yarder earlier in the third quarter. Now this one really living up to its billing now. We are right back where we started, all tied up. Sills finds pay dirt for the second time today. Happy you're with us here in Fort Worth. Aaron Goldsmith, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman down to the sidelines. All tied at 24, under 10 minutes to play. Out of bounds. Back out to Thomas. Pretty good pickup after he was met immediately by Kaiser White, second leading tackler for West Virginia.
That was a heck of a play by Kaiser White. He locked out and shedded the wide receiver over top of him. And then he went ahead and made the play, made the tackle.
Thomas, only 3 catches all year. He's had a catch on back-to-back plays from TCU. Inside West Virginia territory at the 46. To Anderson. Leaning forward, it's getting close. Think about this rush defense for West Virginia. All the missed tackles in their last game against Kansas. This has been one of the worst rush defenses in all of college football.
They just weren't healthy. I mean, this is the first time we've seen this West Virginia defense really be healthy and as one group. And you can see the difference a player like David Long makes.
To Anderson on 3rd and 1. And he is stuffed. Anderson, even with second effort, not enough to make it. McDougal in the mix once again, the true freshman, and David Long. You were just talking about both of them.
This is a tough decision, though. I mean, I think it'd be easy where you'd go for it because of the size advantage. But Nunez has been so good pinning West Virginia back. You could kind of play the field position battle, but it looks like TCU is going to go with their wildcat package like they seem to do in these short yardage situations.
Nunez prefers first half MVP. It was incredible the first half. TCU 1 for 5 on 4th down this year. Rager reversing, first down. Jalen Rager, another big play.
They manufacture ways to get Rager the football. They put him in the wildcat. You're thinking, oh, they're just going to pound away at the football. No, they run a reverse. And if not for Toyus Avery getting a hand in on Rager, he's probably in the end zone for 6. Typically accustomed to seeing TCU play at a fast pace, but I think they feel pretty comfortable right now, taking some time off this clock.
Under 6 minutes to go. Kenny Hill to pass. Going deep, looking for Rager again, and is that intercepted?
Did he have control as he went out of bounds?
It was Elijah Battle.
Ruling on the field. Play is under review.
No, he doesn't have control of the football when that right foot hits out of bounds. Valiant effort, but clearly you see him bobbling right there. His right foot hits out. When he secures the football, this will just be incomplete. Big break for TCU.
After reviewing the play, when the defender controlled the ball, he was out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. Ball's returned to the previous spot. It's 2nd down.
And that's about as close as it gets. So again, a break for TCU and really Kenny Hill, because he took a shot downfield, but I believe it was Rager really didn't even know where the football was. Yeah. Elijah Battle had a much better track on that football.
It's a second life for Kenny Hill in this TCU offense. Second and 10 from the 34.
Sean Nixon now in the game in the slot. He's been kind of quiet today. Number 3 right here.
All right, no catches for Nixon so far. Hicks around the edge. Hakeem Bailey forcing him out. Third down coming up here for TCU. What a second half this has been from Fort Worth.
The big question here is, if you're West Virginia, do you elect to bring pressure? It's been your MO the entire game.
It was a 7-3 TCU lead at halftime. How far these two teams have come. By the sticks, Diaz turns left field, first down.
They're working on number 24, Hakeem Bailey. Really hasn't played much today until this series. Diaz does a good job getting separation at the top. The route comes back to the football, which allows him to get yards after the catch. With strong hands.
A gain of 23. Diaz now 4 grabs, 70 yards on the day.
And he's coming off. Nope, he's going to stay on the field. And I was going to say, continue to work that matchup.
Turpin heads to the sideline. Hunt comes in.
There's Diaz. He's been your leading wide receiver, and he's the guy who's got the greatest size right now on the field for TCU.
Wide receiver Sean Nixon in the backfield. They dump it out to him quickly. Nixon puts on the brakes. Turns upfield inside the 5. Second and goal. Ball to the 4-yard line. Inside 5 minutes, almost inside 4 minutes now.
I mean, you can look at the West Virginia defense, and they look gassed. This is an 11-play drive, still going.
Diaz and Turpin, the two receivers, out to the right of Kenny Hill. Turpin in motion on the jet sweep. Turpin trying to hurdle a man. Third and goal coming up. Kaiser White there.
Did he lose the football at the end of this play?
Of course, West Virginia thinks so.
Yeah, he's clearly down. And as a defense, you're just kind of hoping and praying that maybe the ball came out before his knee hit the ground, but clearly down.
Kenny Hill taking it himself. Kenny Hill lunging forward, and he is in for the score. Mr. Everything, Kenny Hill. He has thrown for a score. He has caught a touchdown, and now he breaks the barrier with a touchdown on the ground.
Let's verify that he got the ball across the goal line before a knee was down. Toyce Avery had a shot. Look at the extension. Look at the athletic ability of Kenny Hill, who's gotten it done in a variety of ways, puts his shoulder down, and comes in clutch for his team when they needed him to the most.
Jonathan Song makes this a 31-24 TCU lead. Time running out for the Mountaineers. What a dive by Kenny Hill. Well, we told you at the start this would be a good one. The only top 25 matchup on today's slate. 31-24, Horned Frogs on top. Under 3 minutes to go. Kenny Hill has just about done it all today for TCU. Marcus Sims back to return. Bunts kicks it away. Taking a knee this time. Crawford over 100 yards again today, but on the sideline at least for this first play. Grier to pass. Jennings has had a pretty quiet second half relative to his first. Pushed out of bounds by Nico Small.
And really the biggest thing as a quarterback in this scenario is just executing the play, not trying to do too much. If it's not there, throw it away, get rid of it. You can't afford to take sacks and those sort of negative plays.
Runners forward progress. We're stopped at the 30-yard line. It's second down.
They give him 5. Grier with time. Grier looking for Sills. Can't make the catch. Tight coverage draped all over him. Tony James.
And well played by Tony James. Only his second start at cornerback. Used to be a wide receiver, transitioned to cornerback, and you can see the ball skills and the pattern recognition coming into play.
Brings up 3rd and 5.
Going to work to Gary Jennings and David Sills. Setting a stack right there.
Can't find Jennings. Throws behind him.
Well, Grier thought he was going to hook up into the zone, and Jennings wanted to run out of it. But see the defender Isaaku right outside? Grier trying to protect him, just not on the same page. They're going for it. This is the ball game right here.
Fourth and 5 from their own 30. Looking for Sills. They find him for the first down. Who else?
How clutch is David Sills, and that was a good, accurately thrown football. Sometimes it was the toughest ones to catch, especially on 4th down with the game on the line.
Sills only 2 first half grabs. Second half has been a different story. Looking for Sills. Back shoulder on his feet, but now out of bounds as a flag comes in.
Well, it's going to be pass interference. I mean, Tony James had his hands around his waist, kind of swung him around. Oh, wow. They're calling this versus David Sills as far as the separation he got when he caught the football. It really went both ways.
Offense, number 13, 15-yard penalty. First down.
This is huge, and you'll see right here, working on one another. So you can see both hand fighting back and forth. That's interesting because, I mean, you see more grabbing from Tony James than you do Sills. I don't know about this one.
The good folks in Morgantown not too pleased right now. 1st and 25 under 2 minutes to go. To Jennings. Going to get some of those yards back.
Well, and that's the toughest thing about that call is not only one, did it take time off the clock, it negates a first down and it negates distance. The two things you're really fighting, time and distance, than a 2-minute drive.
That was Jennings' 10th catch of the game. Going deep, trying to connect with Sims. That just has not been there today.
These wide receivers for West Virginia just look gassed. Guys' hands are on their hips, having a hard time getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Especially that last play, Sills barely breaking off the line.
I don't even think he ever got the signal to what he was going to be running. I mean, clearly they wanted to take a shot to Sims downfield. I said it's hard. You know, they didn't have to be one-dimensional. They kind of do now with how much time's on the clock, but they didn't have to at the start of the drive.
Needing to get a chunk of this 18 yards to go. Grier flushed. Grier going nowhere, having to heave it out of bounds. He has felt pressure by Ben Banogu all day long.
And once again, Will Grier faced with having to convert on 4th down. And this comes down to heart and guts. If you're West Virginia, and for TCU, you just continue to keep executing at a high level.
Well, here we go. 4th and 18, a minute 20 left. West Virginia down to its final breath. Grier stepping up. Throwing near the sticks to White, and it's knocked away by Tejada.
It has been blanket coverage from Anthony Tejada all game long. Talked about him just not always getting a hand in on the football. Not the case here. Ron White going to run a route around the depth of the sticks. That's typically what you see on 3rd down, but in this case, 4th down as they try to get the conversion. Look at Tejada. Perfectly done. That is textbook defense from your most experienced cornerback who stepped up big time today.
Gary Patterson 17-0 at home as a top 10 team. Take a look at the slate ahead. This was, you can see what's coming up.
And you really can't look past Kansas State next week on the road. That's just too good of a football team all the way around. It presents some unique issues for you on both sides of the football. And then you look at the rest of the Big 12 play, having to go to Norman to take on Oklahoma. That's going to be a tough one. That could largely determine what ends up happening for TCU in the grand scheme of the Big 12 this year.
Brady, an underwhelming first half, at least in terms of point production. 7-3, 10 total points between these two teams. TCU had the advantage. Second half, sensational as we go down to the field to Bruce Feldman.
Gary, really wild second half. You guys had some really key play calls with some gadgets. What did you think about what Sunday was able to come up here?
Well, like I told you going in at half, I knew they were going to call it all. And so we gave up a couple big plays. They came back. We had the gadget throwback quarterback. You know, if you want to win championships, you got to make plays. And I thought both sides of the ball, we got a big 3rd down stop, then a 4th, and offensively scored when we needed them to. So, you know, I'm really excited about it. Obviously, I'll be mad tomorrow, but you got to get ready to play.
What was going through your mind on that, where they called the interception and then they overturned it as you're waiting for that to go?
Well, we got to stop them. You know, in some ways, I got to get them, run some clock off. We'll kick a field goal to win it. That's what I was thinking. I was saying we're going to get the ball back, kick a field goal, and get ready to go.
Kenny had a shaky first half, kept on battling, made plays without just doing it through in the passing game on himself. What did you say about how he kind of was resilient today?
Well, number one, you got to give them credit. They really had a really good game plan. They had 2 weeks to prepare, and he did a nice job. They do a nice job against 10 personnel, 4 wideouts. And Tony, their defensive coordinator, did a great job, and I thought we made some adjustments, came back and made some plays.
What were your thoughts when you heard Oklahoma went down today at Iowa State?
I saw it, but you know what? I got to worry about Kansas State, and I'm going to go home and watch them here in a little while.
All right, thanks, Gary.
You bet.
Guys.
All right, thank you, Bruce. Gary needs some water as well, it sounds like, after a long day at the office. What a game this one turned out to be. Kenny Hill, 3 touchdowns, each of a different variety. 31-24, number 8 TCU prevails over number 23 West Virginia. We'll get you out to Austin for the Kansas State-Texas game right after these messages.